Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. I'm so glad you're here. What do we got going on in the markets? Well, we got a lot of complacency, right? I mean, the markets don't really get excited one way or the other about anything. We have 45,000 workers go on strike on the docks. Dow drops 100 points. That's nothing, right? I mean, it's really complacency, right? And what is this? Complacency is happening right at the top. We're in a topping pattern. I do think there's a big move coming. I do think the big move will be to the downside. The down direction. Is it the big crash yet? No, I don't see the big crash coming. Not yet. Not yet. Look at the market is going to come in, right? It's going to come in, but it may be a slow bleed out. I do believe the NASDAQ has topped out back in July. I don't think we're going to make a new high in the NASDAQ. Maybe they push it up for a double top, but I don't think they're going to make a new high. So I think the NASDAQ is broken. I think the Dow probably topped out last week. We'll see how that plays out. They may push the Dow up a little bit higher still, but right now it's looking like it had that little spike up last week, and now we're coming back down. We'll see what happens there. But a lot of complacency, and this is real interesting because we're going into the month October, right? Scary month, Halloween month. A lot of stock market crashes. 1929, stock market crashed in October. 1987, stock market crashed in October. 2024, stock market, well, we don't know yet. We don't know yet, but maybe it crashes. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But I think there's too much complacency. I think we're going to see some volatility come back in the market. I think we're within a week of the top where we start to go down. I do think October will be a down month. We'll see how that plays out. All right, so let's get over. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody. You know, we reached 4,000 subscribers. I want to thank each and every one of you for making that possible. Right now, we've really slowed down on how many new subscribers we get. YouTube doesn't like what I say, so they don't really show my video to a lot of new people. But I appreciate all of you coming here 15 minutes a day, listening to what I have to say. I never thought I'd get to 4,000. I was happy when I got to 100. I was jumping up and down. But I'm very proud. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Love you all. All right, let's get over to the real estate market now. Now, things are getting funny over there, right? There's a whole lot of panic going on in the housing market. Why the panic, Tall Mike? Well, nothing's selling, right? We had that new law change August 17th, right? And all of a sudden things stopped selling. Now, what is that new law? That new law says we cannot advertise on the MLS that we're willing to pay the broker of the buyer a commission to bring us a seller. We're not allowed to say that anymore, right? So before we used to put it on the MLS, we'd say you get 2.5%, 3%, whatever it is, and they'd bring the buyer. Well, we can't say that anymore. So they're not bringing the buyer. Isn't that fascinating? Now, here's the emails I'm getting. I'm getting a lot of emails, a lot of desperation out there. Now, anyways, like they're advertising. You see, you can't say on the MLS that you're offering a commission, but you can send an email to every real estate broker you know and say, hey, this one has a 3% commission for you. This one has a 4%. Some of them have 5% now just to bring a buyer. Before it was 2.5%. Now we're up to 5%. They're getting desperate, but that's what the emails I'm getting. The emails also say these things like huge price drop, motivated seller offering 5% to the buying agent. Isn't that incredible? You see, once again, it's the general public that's getting hosed. The general public, they want to get their house sold, but we can't advertise for any buyers. We can't advertise that we'll offer a commission to their agents. Now, the seller, they want to advertise. Yes, Mike, I want to advertise. I'm desperate. I'm motivated. Please tell them that we're going to offer a commission. We cannot do it anymore. That's so sad, right? The law is to protect the public, right? But who's getting hurt here? Public's getting hurt again, right? Now, here's the thing. Okay, a lot of real estate brokers, they're getting smart. Oh, my goodness. I didn't realize that we were so smart. Now, I'm a real estate broker. I'm not as smart as these other ones, but what they're doing is they're holding on to them as pocket listings. What's a pocket listing, Tall Mike? Well, they put it in their pocket and they go talk to people. I got this listing here. It's not on the MLS. There's not putting them on the MLS anymore. Why is that? Well, you can't do commissions on the MLS. So MLS is pretty much worthless. Just put it in your pocket. And this way you can advertise it yourself. You can get both ends of the commission, right? 3% from the seller, 3% from the buyer. So you can get 6%. I mean, our income just doubled. We're not putting them on the MLS, but what is this doing? This is underestimating the actual inventory that is out there on the marketplace. See, the only thing that registers are the ones that you put on the MLS. The pocket listings, they don't know about that inventory. Now, here's the interesting part. Even though there's so much pocket listings out there, so much, call it a shadow inventory, if you will. Inventory that's not on the MLS. They only take the inventory that's on the MLS and they measure that. But that's up 30%. Tack on the pocket listings, you got inventory probably up about 60% for over the last month, over a month ago. These numbers aren't going to come out not till December after the election. Don't want them to come out before the election. That might sway the election process. That might be called influencing the election if you release all this information to the public. The public, they don't deserve to know. They're not smart enough to know what's going on. So a lot of agents, though, they're getting smart, having a pocket listing, not putting it on the MLS, advertising it themselves, and then collecting double commissions. Very fascinating. Now, what's the real reason houses aren't selling? Well, they're just plain not affordable, right? I mean, there's some demand out there. I agree. A lot of you want to buy, right? I get comments, well, I want to buy a house. Well, go out there and buy one. Inventory's up about 60%. Well, I don't want to pay these prices. What they're really saying is, I can't pay these prices. I won't pay these prices. And that's why the houses aren't selling. They're not affordable. Least unaffordable they've ever been. But my interest rates just dropped 50%. Jerome Powell came in and dropped it 50%. He says he's going to do another 50%. That'd be a whole percent. Well, the mortgages, they're not really coming down, right? Okay, so anyways, that's not the only cost, though. You got the cost of property taxes way up here because the prices are up where Billy Bob got out at, right? So you got expensive property taxes. You got insurance. A lot of places you can't even get insurance, especially we had that big hurricane come through. Lots of people died. Lots of properties got destroyed. You cannot get insurance in many areas of the country. So insurance premiums have pretty much gone through the roof. Homes are expensive. People cannot afford to buy a home. There is a whole lot of panic going on in the real estate market. You're not going to hear about it till December. Now, this is fascinating. This is fascinating. All right, let's talk a little bit about this. Okay, so Redfin comes out and they say we're on pace for 2.5% of all homes to sell this year. 2.5%. So out of every 100 homes, there are 2.5% sell. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that basically people used to sell a home every 5 years. Every 5 years. When I was growing up, I'd sell my home every 5 years and you'd buy a bigger, newer, better one, right? 5 years, wait, buy a bigger, newer, better one, right? 5 years, wait, buy a bigger, new, better one. What's happening today? People are stuck. Oh, they're stuck in their home for the next 40 years. They can't get out. They're stuck. They're stuck. They can't move upward and better. They got to stay where they are. 2.5 times 40 sounds like that equals right around 100 to me, right? Okay, so anyways, that's but back in the day, 20% of homes used to sell. You move every 5 years, 20% of homes would go on the market every year. Well, now it's frozen over. It's locked up. Nothing's moving, right? But this is a problem, right? This is a problem. A problem for the GDP. Nothing's moving, right? It's stagnant. So what's Jerome doing? Well, he's coming out and he's reducing rates by 50 basis points. But Jerome Powell, he's a funny guy, isn't he? I mean, he comes out with a straight face and he says the economy's in solid shape. He says, and if it's not in solid shape, the Fed has a printing press to keep it in solid shape. Oh, he didn't say printing press. You're right. He did not say printing press. He said the Fed has tools, which would be a printing press, to keep the economy in solid shape. Now, here's the thing. If it's in such solid shape, why did you reduce 50 basis points, promising another 50 basis basis points. Why? Why? Now, it is in solid shape for his rich friends. If you're wealthy, you're doing very well. You're having a heck of a year. Now, I mean, I must admit, I'm having a great year. Here's why. It's because of Jerome, right? I mean, Jerome, he's making the money supply go like this. What's gold doing? It's going like this, right? Real money skyrocketing. So my investments, I mean, that's where my largest holding is real money, right? Gold and silver having a record year. Gold's outperforming every asset class out there. It's been outperforming the stock market for the last 20 to 25 years. Been outperforming Bitcoin for the last 3 years. That's 50% higher than Bitcoin. Well, maybe you got Bitcoin now. Maybe it'll take off for you. I hope it does. I love Bitcoin. Fun to gamble on. It's really sad when it's just kind of stuck in this range, right? Stuck right around 60,000, goes down to 58, up to 62, back to 58. Maybe it'll take off again. I hope it does. Maybe it goes to zero. I'd be really sad if Bitcoin goes away. That'd be terrible. But anyway, so Jerome, he's got this thing, right? The economy's in great shape. Well, it's in great shape if you're wealthy, right? You see, my investments are skyrocketing. I sell houses, right? Where are houses selling? Record highs, right? I mean, what, $1 million house is now $3 million house. I used to make 30,000 when I sell a house. Now I make 90,000, right? I sell 3 of these houses. I got 270,000 for the year. Now, don't get me wrong. That's income. The government takes 50% of that right off the top, pretty much, right? Why? Well, you need to build bombs so that we can go blow things up. That's why. Oh, okay. So anyways, now, it's really fascinating to me, right? I mean, it really is. It's kind of like actually cute, when Jerome comes out and he thinks that he can stave off any recession, any depression. I got news for you. What's coming to the United States? Jerome's not going to be able to stop it. Doesn't matter who gets in office. You can get Kamala in there. You can get the Donald in there. Doesn't matter. They can't stop it either. It's coming. It's called the reset, right? When the debt bubble blows, and it will blow. Now, you can keep printing all this money. Sure you can. And you can kick the can down the road and nothing's happened, right? Nothing's happened for the last, 14, 16 years. We've been doing it straight up. Everything straight up. Gold, silver, straight up. Stock market, straight up. Every house is straight up. Everything's straight up. But it's cute that the Fed thinks they can stop what's coming. Now, I know I get a little bit negative on this channel, but some of you want to hear the truth. Some of you want to put your head in the sand and don't want to hear the truth. And that's okay. You might want to flip the channel right now. But what's coming to the United States, it's scary. It scares me. It really does. I mean, you're going to see supply chains, bro. You don't understand. When the debt bubble breaks, people die. Why do people die, Tall Mike? Because they can't get food, right? Debt, to get a pound of steak to your grocery store, the amount of debt that's required to make that happen is really incredible. A lot of people don't understand economics. Sometimes I don't even understand economics, although I'm an economist, right? But, it takes a lot of debt. And when the debt bubble blows, they can't get the credit to make their business run, causes food shortages. What happens to the prices? Prices skyrocket. We hyperinflate. Nobody's got money. How do you get food? You don't. A lot of people aren't going to make it. Stick away some extra food now while it's cheap. It's going to be going up. Look at just that. The strikers of dock workers, I mean, that's going to make inflation take off. It's going to empty out the shelves. You want to pick up things you need. Now, I know Biden's got it under control. That's what I read. He's got it all figured out. Now he's going to fix this thing. Well, that's great, Joe. I don't even know if you're still alive anymore. I see news articles, but I don't see you out there. But anyways, I don't know what Kamala's doing. She's running around campaign. Nobody needs to really run the country, apparently. You can put anybody in the office. It doesn't matter. This whole thing's going to come down. And I'm afraid for that because it's not going to be so good. Now, look, a lot of people say, but Mike, the economy's doing great. My 401k retirement account, it's up 40% in the last 40, and that's great, right? But your purchasing power is down a lot more than that. You see, people, well, that's what they want you to do. They want you to look at the stock market. They don't want you to look at your purchasing power because all this is a fake economy, right? We've been printing money since we crashed in 2008. This is a facade. This will come to an end. They'll call the debt bubble. The debt bubble is going to pop. Yes, it is. Guarantee you. When's that going to happen? I have no idea. Maybe it's next year. Maybe it's 5 years. Maybe it's next week. Nobody knows for sure, and that's a fact. But fact is, it is unsustainable. It will pop. I mean, look at 1.2 trillion just in interest, right? I mean, just in interest. Plus, we're running a deficit between $2 and $3 trillion. Let's say 3 trillion, something goes wrong. They always have an emergency. They have to go blow someone up around the world, and that costs a little bit extra when you blow them up. So you got 3 trillion in a deficit, 1.2 trillion in interest payment. That's 4.2 trillion. We don't bring that much in. So everything we do has to be printed, Your Social Security payments, your Medicare payment, the defense budget, everything the government do is pre-printed. Now, what does that do? It increases the deficit, right? 3 trillion, 4 trillion, 5 trillion. We're going to get to 50 trillion and beyond really quick. It's going to happen really fast. It's not going to be pretty. It scares me. The month of October is scary. If you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. Get out there, enjoy the day. But before you do, punch that subscribe button. We're at 4,000, headed to 5,000, baby. We'll see you there. Bye-bye now.